Good morning everyone. In this video, we are going to cover the current affairs. For mobile optimized ebooks, please install GKToday Academy app. You can attempt the quiz in this app and you can read detailed explanation. For regular updates, please join our Telegram channel. The link is given in the description box. Now we have started a new channel, Civils Academy. You can subscribe to it if you find it relevant. Now let's start. Which regulating body has amended the regulations on transferring of assets by liquidator of stressed firm? So recently, IBBI, that is Insolvency and Bankruptcy Board of India, amended the regulations so that the resolution process can be fast-tracked. Now, under the new regulations, the liquidator of a stressed firm can assign or transfer an asset which is not readily realizable. So this can be transferred to any person after consultation committee of stakeholders. Now, what is the meaning of this term? Not readily realizable asset. It means the asset which could not be sold through the available options. So now it can be transferred. If it cannot be sold immediately, it can be transferred, and this will help in speeding up the resolution process. And this has been done by IBBI, that is Insolvency and Bankruptcy Board of India. Which international organization has released $100 million to 7 countries at the risk of famine? So this has been released by United Nations and the amount is $100 million. So out of this 180 will go to Afghanistan, Burkina Faso, Congo, Nigeria, South Sudan and Yemen, while the remaining 20 will go to Ethiopia. Now recently United Nations was also in news as it completed 75 years. The present president of UNGA, that means for 75th session of UNGA, the president is Volkan Bozkır. He is first Turkish diplomat to be on this position. Now for 76th session of UNGA, India has supported Abdullah Shahid for the post of UNGA president. Abdullah Shahid is the foreign minister of Maldives. Union Culture Minister has handed over bronze idols retrieved from London to which state? So, recently, Culture Minister Prahlad Singh Patel handed over the bronze idols of Lord Rama, Lakshman and Goddess Sita to the Tamil Nadu government. Now, recently, Tamil Nadu was in news as Indian tourism statistics was released by Tourism Ministry, and as per that report, Tamil Nadu is on top position in terms of foreign tourists. In terms of domestic tourists, Uttar Pradesh is top recipient. Recently, Uttar Pradesh was also in news because of Har Ghar Nal Yojana. So, recently Prime Minister launched this Har Ghar Nal Yojana for Sonbhadra and for Mirzapur. So, for these two areas, this Har Ghar Nal Yojana was launched by Prime Minister. This scheme will ensure water supply through pipelines. What is the name of disappearing tweets feature launched by Twitter? So, the name of this feature is Fleets. So, this is a new feature which has been launched by Twitter, and as per that, the tweets will disappear in 24 hours and it has been given the name Fleets. Since it will disappear, therefore, these tweets cannot be retweeted. Now, coming back to Twitter, the CEO of Twitter is Jack Dorsey and the headquarters of Twitter is in California in USA. Operation Calypso, which was in news recently, is associated with which field? So, it was associated to drug smuggling, and recently DRI, that is Directorate of Revenue Intelligence, cracked an international racket under this operation codenamed as Operation Calypso. Now recently few other operations were also in news. Operation My Saheli was launched by Railways. Operation Muskan was a special drive to trace the missing children. Operation Breathing Space was launched for the collaboration between India and Israel to tackle the COVID-19. Operation Rap Speed is related to USA for the COVID-19 vaccine. Now answer in comment box, what was the objective of Operation Desert Chase? On which day the World Philosophy Day was observed by UNESCO? So World Philosophy Day is celebrated by UNESCO on every third Thursday of November, and this time it was on 19th of November. Now 19th of November was also observed as World Day for Prevention of Child Abuse. It is important to note that on 20th of November, International Day for the Rights of Child is observed, while 21st of November is celebrated as World Fisheries Day. It is also observed as World Television Day. India has held its first standalone summit meeting in the past 2 decades with which country? So this is Luxembourg, and this was a virtual summit, and Prime Minister Mr. Modi represented India in this summit along with his counterpart Xavier Bettel. Now, during this summit, few agreements were signed, including the agreement between Luxembourg Stock Exchange and State Bank of India. Now, recently, Luxembourg was also in news as it became the first country to make public transport free. Apart from that, Luxembourg decided to join ISA, and India welcomed this decision. What is ISA? It is International Solar Alliance. So this initiative was for the solar energy, and recently Luxembourg decided to join it. And India invited Luxembourg to join CDRI. CDRI stands for Coalition for Disaster Resilient Infrastructure. What is the name of challenge launched to prevent hazardous cleaning of sewers and septic tanks? So the name of this initiative is Safai Mitra Suraksha, and this was launched on the occasion of World Toilet Day, and this was launched by Minister of Housing and Urban Affairs Hardeep Singh Puri. So the idea is to ensure that no life of any sewer or septic tank cleaner is lost due to hazardous cleaning. And during this event, it was pledged to mechanize the sewer and septic tank cleaning operations by 30th of April 2021. That means by next year, all the septic tanks and sewers will be cleaned by the machine instead of human beings. Actually, it is a very dangerous task, and that's why we are trying to mechanize this process so that we can save precious human lives. Apart from that, the Jal Shakti Minister Gajendra Singh Shekhawat launched Swachhta Puraskar for the districts which contributed significantly towards ODF, that is Open Defecation Free. Now, there are 3 terms: ODF, ODF Plus and ODF Plus Plus. So ODF is simply Open Defecation Free. Second, that means ODF Plus focus on the toilets with water. That means functionality of toilet is being considered here. So here toilets should have proper water facility, they should be properly cleaned. So hygiene factor is also considered. In ODF Plus Plus, the focus is on sludge and septage management. The United Nations has adopted a resolution tabled by European Union and OIC related to which event? So it is related to Rohingya crisis. United Nations adopted a resolution tabled by Organization of Islamic Cooperation and European Union, and this resolution called for the solution of Rohingya crisis. Actually, Rohingyas are Muslims and they are facing persecution in the Myanmar. Mostly they are settled in the Rakhine province of Myanmar. Recently Myanmar was in news because of its elections, and NLD, that is National League of Democracy, which is headed by Aung San Suu Kyi, won the elections in Myanmar. Now coming back to OIC, so the headquarters of OIC is in Jeddah in Saudi Arabia, and Saudi Arabia is the president of G20 group for this year. Next year, Italy will be the president of G20 group, and in 2022, India will be the host of G20 Summit. That means India will be the president. Which union ministry implements PM-FME scheme, which was in news recently? So, it is implemented by Ministry of Food Processing. Recently, it was in news because the Union Minister for Food Processing, Narendra Singh Tomar, launched the capacity building component of this PM-FME. What is PM-FME? It is Pradhan Mantri Formalization of Micro Food Processing Enterprises. So it is a centrally sector scheme launched under Atmanirbhar Bharat, and recently it was in news because the capacity building component of this scheme was announced. So the scheme aims to formalize the micro enterprises in the food processing sector. That means the support will be provided to these small enterprises. Now recently, this Ministry of Food Processing was also in news because of Tri-Food project? Answer in comment box what is the objective of this Tri-Food project. Which union ministry launched development of wind parks or wind solar hybrid park? So this is an initiative by Ministry of New and Renewable Energy, that is MNRE. The idea is to ensure clean energy. Now recently this MNRE was also in news because of PM Kusum scheme, as recently ministry released new guidelines for this PM Kusum scheme. It is related to solar energy. And recently world's largest solar tree was launched in Durgapur in West Bengal. Apart from that, India's first tire park was also launched in West Bengal, and first tram library was also launched in West Bengal. So these were the most important questions. Now we are going to cover important news. So first is the Future Skills Prime platform. So this is a platform launched by NASSCOM. So this is an online platform, and the beta version of this platform was recently launched by NASSCOM. So this will provide a platform for digital learning, and it has been launched by NASSCOM in association with MEITY, that is Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology. So this will help in increasing our digital talent. Next is Australian Academy of Cinema and Television Art Award. So recently 3 movies were selected for this. These 3 are Thappad, Chapak and Shubh Mangal Jada Saavdhan. Next is ISB ICWA. ISB stands for Indian School of Business. So recently ISB collaborated with ICWA. ICWA is Indian Council of World Affairs. So these two decided to collaborate for the research in the field of international relations and to promote India's relationship with different countries. Next is Agastya Jaiswal. So recently a boy from Hyderabad, Agastya Jaiswal, was in news because he claimed that he is the first Indian student to complete graduation at the age of 14. Next is Indiabulls Housing Finance. So recently it appointed Deenbandhu Mohapatra as the independent director for the period of 3 years. Next is Amazon Future Builders Program. So recently Amazon announced this program for the students of top business schools. So under this program, Amazon will prepare these students for the leadership role at the company. Next is PDPU, that is Pandit Deen Dayal Petroleum University. Recently this university was in news because Prime Minister addressed the convocation of this university. So it is important to know that this university is in Gandhinagar and it is in Gujarat. Next is G20 Summit. So it was under the presidency of Saudi Arabia, and from Indian side our Prime Minister attended this event. It was the 15th G20 Summit, and the theme was realizing opportunities of 21st century for all. Next is Women's T20 World Cup. So recently ICC, that is International Cricket Council, postponed the Women's T20 World Cup. So previously it was supposed to be organized in 2022. Now it will be organized in 2023 and it will be in South Africa. The headquarters of ICC is in Dubai in UAE. ICC stands for International Cricket Council. Next is GC Murmu. So he is our present CAG, that is Comptroller and Auditor General. Why he was in news? Because he has been elected as the external auditor of IPU. What is IPU? That is Inter-Parliamentary Union. So he has been elected as the external auditor of IPU for a period of 3 years. Next is Paris Agreement. So it is a Paris Climate Agreement that was signed in 2015. So it is a Paris Climate Agreement that came into picture in 2015, and recently it was in news because India is the only country in G20 countries which is on the track to meet the Paris Agreement targets. Now what was the objective of this Paris Agreement? The objective is to reduce GHG, that is greenhouse gases, so that the global temperature increase in this century can be prevented up to 2 degrees Celsius, and attempts can be made to prevent it or to limit it to 1.5 degree. In simplest term, because of the greenhouse gases, temperature is increasing. The idea is to make sure that by 2100, that means by this year, the temperature rise should not be beyond 2 degrees Celsius. In fact, the steps will be taken to prevent it till 1.5 degree only. That means till the increment of 1.5 degree only. Next is Mala Adiga. So she is Indo-American She was in news because recently she was appointed as the policy director of Jill Biden. She is going to be the first lady of USA. That means Jill Biden is going to be the first lady of USA. Next is Dr. Bish Agrawal. So recently he became the first Asian to receive AESC Lifetime Achievement Award. What is this AESC? It is Association of Executive Search and Leadership Consultants. So he became the first Asian to receive this award, and that's why it is important. Next is Green Climate Fund. So recently GCF approved $256 million for Bangladesh so that it can reduce its GHG emissions to meet the Paris Agreement targets. Next is Dr. Adam Yo Liu. So recently Dr. Adam Yo won the Exim Bank's BRICS Economic Research Award for his PhD. Next is Atmanirbhar MP. So recently Madhya Pradesh government announced the 3-year roadmap to be Atmanirbhar. That is Atmanirbhar Madhya Pradesh 2023. And it is the first state to release a roadmap for self-reliance under Prime Minister's Atmanirbhar Bharat initiative. Next is Osho Corp Global. So recently this company was in news as it became the first private firm to receive Indian Army's approval for manufacturing the specialized ammunitions for main battle tanks. So this company became the first private firm to receive the approval of Indian Army for manufacturing specialized ammunitions for main battle tanks, that is T-72 and T-9. And the headquarters of this company is in New Delhi. So these were the most important events. Thank you, and that's all for the day.